Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Business Today TV. I am Chetan Bhutani. Well, TCI has come out with its set of numbers for the fourth quarter, and I'm today joined by the Managing Director, Mr. Vineet Agarwal. Vineet, thank you so much for joining us on Business Today. A good set of numbers being reported. Net profit up 25%, sales up 10.17% to about 1,078 crores. Do tell us what really fueled the growth in the fourth quarter?
So hi, thanks Chetan. It's quarter four is always a very good quarter for us. As you know, there is a lot of sales push that happens. Production also is it's at the all-time high for most companies. So that helps us across the board, and all our businesses did exceedingly well in the last quarter. The growth momentum has also come from certain sectors like the automotive sectors. We do a lot of work there in our supply chain solutions business, where 75% of the volume comes from automotive sector. So that, as you know, has been picking up and has continued its growth trajectory. So overall, it's been a very positive last 3 months for us, and March being even better.
Okay. Also, when you tell us, you mentioned about automotive, supply chain and other, volumes coming in majorly from automotive space. I want to know how has the demand been as far as the supply chain of automobiles and cars and vehicles is concerned. How's the demand there?
So supply chains around automotive sectors has been very robust because first is that actually let me take a step back. We actually don't do work only in the four-wheeler or two-wheeler segment, but also the three-wheeler, the commercial vehicle, the earth-moving equipment, tractors, commercial vehicles. So it's a whole gamut of services that we provide on the production logistics side, which is bringing in parts just in time from suppliers, and then the finished goods, which is transporting the finished cars or other vehicles to the dealers or to customers directly, also in some cases. So the business volume has been quite exciting, quite good. The two-wheeler segment has started to come back and has picked up. I think a lot of that has also been driven by sales in the EV side of vehicles. So that is a very positive. What was not very good last year was tractors. That we knew came down a little bit, but we're expecting FY25 to be much better with a positive monsoon. So overall, auto sector has a lot of dynamic growth potential, both from a domestic market and from an export market.
Sure. So you're saying that tractors and two-wheelers, which are a sign of a good, healthy rural economy, are seeing green shoots right now. Is it true that you are seeing an upscale in demand for tractors and two-wheelers, especially?
The demand for tractors has not come back yet entirely. I think this is going to come back more towards the monsoon season. But two-wheelers, yes, we are seeing a certain kind of movement. Even on the not just the rural but the non-rural side, the movement of EV two-wheelers has been quite exciting. We do work for some companies where you do directly from the plant to the customer. So you can actually now register your vehicle online. So what the customer places an order, and we just pick up the bike from the factory, we take it to a hub where we charge it, we do the pre-delivery inspection, and then we deliver it directly to the home of the consumer. So that is a new kind of model that has started to develop even in the automotive space.
So Vineet, I'll shift focus from the numbers, because it's already widely reported. I'd like to shift to ask you about a little bit of macro stuff. In India, there's always been constant conversation and debates about reducing logistics costs. TCI has also, in fact, has been a front runner for encouraging in reducing logistics costs. Where are we right now? Because the government's plans to use coastal shipping transportation through waters has kicked off, but yet not given a very big rocket kind of a boost. Where are we right now at reducing logistics costs in India?
It is a very pertinent question, and I think the one of the ways to do that, as you have rightly indicated, is multimodal. So our modal mix in the country is incorrect. We are at 65% is road, 25% is rail, and about 6 odd percent is only coastal shipping, and the rest being other modes of transport. But this mode should be in the closer to 40% for rail at least, and 20 plus percent for sea. And so this shift is not going to be so easy. It's going to take its time. There is a lot of infrastructure that needs to come up. The intermodal capabilities have to be developed across the country. capacity has to come up on the railway sector. We are seeing that DFC is coming up, so that's definitely a huge positive flip. So I would give it a few more years before this switch actually starts to happen towards the rail and the other modes of transport. And then consequently, the cost of logistics will come down because these modes are definitely cheaper than road. The other benefit on doing this is the carbon cost. I think that does not get covered easily. Green logistics is going to become big as well. And the more you move via different modes of transport other than road, you will see that your carbon emission comes down, and it is a very, very positive steps for companies that are focused on the ESG goals.
All right. So, so in order to reduce logistics cost, if I heard you right, you're mentioning that the transportation by rail should be nearly about 40% and 20% by ship. Right now, as of now, we are currently about 3 to 5% at shipping. So, you mean to say that by 20% when we reach shipping, we would be having very low logistics cost?
Certainly, I think that's a aim and an aspiration. I don't think it's going to happen so fast. It's we'll probably move up more a few hundred basis points every few years. But definitely there is a scope to move to double digit in that sector, which includes even inland waterways.
Sure, sure. Also, Vineet, the government has been working towards a multimodal corporation and developing intermodal capabilities, but that has not really kicked off. So, you as TCI, are you encouraging the government or giving your own suggestions towards bringing down the logistics cost and developing such intermodal ways of transport?
Absolutely. And the start comes from infrastructure, but that's not the end of it. The first, it has to be interoperability of assets, which means that there has to be a certain level of standardization that has to come up. Standardization today, if you see a lot of trucks are of different types, different categories, different sizes, different makes, etc. If we move towards containerization, for example, that is a kind of a standardization, which means that moving the product between different modes of transport is far easier. You don't have to unload every parcel or every carton. You just take the container and put it onto a rail network or to a sea network and so on. So intermodality has to happen with interoperability, which means that there has to be standardization in assets as well as in documentation, because then now that document has to flow continuously. So the start has been made with things like eBay bill, etc. And there is ULIP that's coming up, the Unified Logistics Interface platform. That will really, really bring things all together in one place. So this seamless transaction between different modes of transport is exactly what the government is thinking about, and we've been also advising them as well.
Sure. Also, we're in the middle of election season, Beneath, and whenever a new government is formed, we all know that fresh consumption takes place. Plus, then after that we'll be heading into the festive season. What are your expectations post-election and formation of a new government? Do you think the demand and subsequent consumption and supply of goods and services through logistics will be giving a boost?
Absolutely. I think any new government that comes in will have certain high priority sectors, and one of them is clearly infrastructure, which is has a trickle down effect. It's almost a 3x kind of a impact on the economy. It affects almost 14, 15 industries directly and indirectly. So infrastructure spend will be high, job creation will be high, which means that sectors like logistics, a sector where there is a lot of job opportunities, should definitely get some fillip there. And certainly the consumption story kicks in as well. There is government will try to increase spending. They will increase their own spending, but they'll also encourage spending. So that would essentially mean that perhaps there could be a rate cut at some point in time. And all of this, if this converges around the festival season, we should definitely see a good growth that time.
Sure. Also, you mentioned about spending in infra. What are your expectations, as you are into multimodal transportation hub, and subsequently you are also, going to railways, shipping, highways. You have a network of all across the length and breadth of the country. What are your expectations from the new government that kicks in? You mentioned about spending on infrastructure. Are you looking forward towards, rate cuts, or are you looking forward towards more greenfield projects?
The kind of projects that in the past that were being built were really to catch up for the past, not for the future. Now we are seeing projects that are being built, which are really, really visionary, which are about 25, 30-year, 50-year kind of a horizon. We need more and more of that. Long range planning in terms of large scale projects is very critical, including things like uh, the highways infrastructure that is getting built, or more and more infrastructure on the railways is getting built with the DFCs. Like this should continue, and we do not have enough of infrastructure. I think for the next decade to 2 decades, the kind of infrastructure development that is needed. And then you don't have to look at only the hard infrastructure. There's also stuff that happens at the city level, sewages, certain metros, electrical systems, all those things will require massive amount of investment. So today, if we think about a fact that if you want a e-commerce delivery to come to your house, you need that infrastructure to ensure that there is bike parking for the bike, there is someone who can deliver it, and all buildings have to have that. You have to have, if you have EV, then you have to have charging infrastructure. Now, all these things would mean that there's a lot of infrastructure development that will need to happen at all levels, at the micro as well as the macro level.
And was my last set of questions, Vineet. Any update on the data integration and operations? Any update of that?
That's the ULIP that I'd mentioned, Unified Logistics Interface Platform, and that is started so we do see a certain amount of data that's already started to come in there.
Hmm.
E-way bill data is there, including when a truck passes through a toll, the RFID chip on your tag is also recording your location. So that location is also now available on the ULIP platform. So like
Hmm.
this, a few things, the payment platforms are getting integrated and so on. The international documentation, EXIM data is getting integrated. So I think in the next 6 to 9 months, I think a lot of more additional work is going to happen there, which will make it quite a seamless platform.
All right. Last question, Vineet. What are the plans ahead? What growth are you looking at for the next financial, for this present financial year now? And any guidance that you could give us?
Yeah. So we are looking to spend about 375 crores in this FY25 with 100 crore odd expenditure on new hubs and offices, about 100 crores on new trucks and automotive rakes, and about 100 odd crores in other assets like warehousing equipment or containers and so on. But we also have 75 odd crores in the event we are able to tie up with a ship builder to buy two ships, and this could be an advance payment that we might have to make for this acquisition of two ships that will possibly take 2 to 3 years to make. So that is part of the capex plan, and with this also the guidance for our top line and the same for the bottom line is about 10 to 15% for this year.
Sure. All right, Vineet, thank you so much for joining us. We really hope elections really boost up the logistics space. But before I let you go, really do election timing and post elections when the results are out. Is there an immediate spike in demand? Is it something like that that happens usually?
Before elections, I think it slows down a little bit.
Okay, and
Uh,
after.
Consumer sentiment is a little soft right now, and so there is a little bit of slowing down that happens. And also, this is the time when after March things really anyway slow down a little bit.
Right. Correct.
So it's not that I think the trickle down effect of elections happen post elections mostly.
All right, all right, all right, Vinny. Thank you so much for joining us. Wishing you all the best for the upcoming quarter and subsequent financial year. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, Chetan. Thank you.